Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speakers today who are going to talk to us about ELT during the pandemic, actions taken, and lessons learned at ENESMAPO 1. We have the participation of Flor Argelia Laureano Torres, who holds a master's degree in TEFL from Universidad de Guadalajara and has over 20 years of experience in both private and public institutions. She is a Cambridge YLE oral examiner and is currently a full-time teacher at Escuela Normal de Estudios Superiores del Magisterio Potosino. María del Carmen Pérez is a formador de inglés at la Escuela Normal de Estudios Superiores del Magisterio Potosino. She has a bachelor's degree in education, specializing in EFL, and holds a master's degree in education from SINADE. She has been teaching higher education students at various institutions and different levels of proficiency for 8 years. And we also have Monica Carrion, who holds a BA in Pedagogy and a diploma in TESOL by King George International College, Canada. She has over 10 years of experience working as an English teacher at all levels. She is currently a full-time teacher at Escuela Normal ENESMAPO in San Luis Potosí. If you have any questions, you can, during the presentation, please type them in the chat box and we can ask them at the end of the presentation. Please please help me welcome Flor, Moni, and María del Carmen.
Thank you, Alejandra. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you here.
Thank you very much.
Start. Hi, Flor. Hi, Carmen. Hi, everyone. Good. So I'm going to start sharing the screen.
Thank you, Moni. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We also thank the organizers of Confíen, everybody at Benemérita y Centenaria Escuela Normal de Jalisco, and the people at Tejesón. As the introduction just said, we are part of the English Academy on Campus 1 at ENESMAPO.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So I was saying we are part of the English Academy at ENESMAPO. And even though the three of us are now conducting this research, the Academy project has been and continues to be built thanks to the effort and the collaboration of more of our colleagues from the English Academy, who we also thank. This presentation is then divided into, next please, thank you, into these parts that you can see here. There is an introduction and some context characteristics. Then we will talk about the project of the English Academy, and we will close by talking about the lessons learned. Right, let us begin with some context so that you can see some of our institution's features. Escuela Normal de Estudios Superiores del Magisterio Potosino is a very big escuela normal. It has 5 campuses in different municipalities of all San Luis Potosí. These campuses are called planteles, and each one of them has very different contextual characteristics. Plantel 1, where the 3 of us work, is in the capital of the state of San Luis Potosí. In total, all ENESMAPO has around 2,109 students and 23 English teachers. In Campus 1, again, where the 3 of us work, there are 12 English teachers and around 620 students. Well, since the English Academy on Campus 1 started back in 2018, we have made many efforts to organize the academic and the administrative work. This is accounted for by many minutes of ordinary and extraordinary academy meetings and multiple hall and office meetings that were not recorded. In this way, in 2020, what we call the Academy project was written. This presentation shows the effort to systematize, to organize the project. This is the Academy project, which has been empirically built throughout these 3 years. We must also clarify that what we are sharing here today is just the beginning of our research project. And it is important to say as well that the Academy has always had the support of the institution and the campus authorities. We are now going to talk about this Academy project, which I already mentioned began its construction at the very beginning of the Academy, and it was finally written in 2020 with 9 lines of action, as we call them. Each one of these lines has its own history, and none of them is recently created. As part of that history, there are some actions that were taken prior to the moment when the project was written. Thus, when writing the project, those lines of action were simply taken up in the first effort to organize our work. Now, the basis of our work, our daily work, as well as the Academy project and this research, is the macro project at the national level, which we will look at now.
Well, hello everyone. For the macro national project, well, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Yes? Okay, thank you very much. Well, hello everyone. For the national project, okay, I will present the national references for the English Academy project, okay? First, we have as a reference the Estrategia Nacional de Inglés, or National English Strategy, which is the result of the changes made in the educational model proposed in 2012 and the adaptation of the study plans of escuelas normales. The National English Strategy, as part of the new educational model of 2017 and the strategy to strengthen the escuelas normales, has the objective that in 20 years, 100% of students who finish their compulsory education will have achieved the level B1 and will be able to have an internationally recognized certification according to the Common European Framework or Reference. English teachers are key factors in this process since they are part of the English national strategy in escuelas normales to help future teachers become competent users of the English language and know how to teach English. Among the roles indicated for formadores de inglés or English trainers in escuelas normales, according to the Periódico Oficial del Gobierno del Estado, published on May 8, 2018, Section 8, Chapter 3, Activities of academic staff, English trainers are in charge of the following: carry out the diagnostic test of students, teach 24 hours of English courses per week, teach classes in English of other courses, provide online tutoring, coordinate activities of the English language laboratory, teach English to teachers in escuelas normales, participate in educational innovation and research projects in bilingualism and ELT. Okay, now as for the English program, I'm pretty sure you already know and you're very familiar with it. Well, remember the 3 main purposes of this English program. Number 1 is to develop the ability to use English in personal and social communications. That's the first purpose of this program. Number 2, increase their engagement with cultural and intercultural activities in English. And number 3, to develop their ability to teach in a school environment where English is an important aspect. So we have these 3 purposes of the English program, and according to these 3 purposes, we have 3 areas, and I'm pretty sure you remember them. We have three areas, that is personal area, community area, and professional area. So the balance of time
of each area goes according to the progression of the program between levels. The first year of the program allocates more hours in the personal area as it is considered the essential for the basic communication. But as students progress towards becoming teachers, the number of hours for the community and professional areas increases. So this is for the English program. Now, what about the curriculum guidelines? In this document, the curriculum guidelines suggest the characteristics of the evaluation of English courses, the grading scales, the different purposes of the evaluation, and also the evaluation instruments. As for the regarding the curriculum progression, this is important. This document says, after the diagnostic evaluation, the students will take the level that corresponds to their English proficiency, which will have curricular progression. That is, students must enroll in the English level course as many times as necessary without affecting their average up to develop the skills of the level. And this is important. A student can take the level as many times as necessary. Okay, so these are the official documents that frame the work of the English trainers, Formadores Inglés, and from which the Academy project has been built. And now we will explain the development of the nine lines of actions of the English project at ENESMAPO. Here you have them, 9 in total. And now Flor is going to explain the first one.
Thank you, Moni. Yes, as Moni just said, the lines, the lines of action are the heart of our project. The first one, to perform a diagnostic test on all the students in the 2018 plan. You know that it is from cohort 2018 that the changes at the macro national project began, which my colleagues have just explained. It should also be noted that upon our arrival at Campus 1, we conducted a diagnostic test on all students. That exam we're talking about is the Oxford Placement Test, which I'm sure most of you know. It was written, of course, and developed by Oxford University Press. The instrument is a multiple choice exam. It's made up of 95 items and it takes 45 minutes for it to be answered. It contains questions of vocabulary, use of English, reading and listening comprehension. Its assessment scale ranges from A0 to C1 in accordance with the Common European Framework. Because of the pandemic, and to give the placement test, the Academy agreed that each English teacher would monitor one group of students. Therefore, they would all together agree on a date and time so that the teacher would monitor the students while they were working on their exam in a synchronous session through a platform that would allow video calls. The second line, consequently. Text, please. Thank you. Consequently, as I was saying, the second line is to organize the students of the 2018 plan by language proficiency level. And this was to happen, of course, by making use of the results of the placement test. It is also part of this line to take care that the groups do not exceed 20 students, as it is stipulated in the roles of the English teachers, which has already been explained by my colleague, Ms. Carmen. And likewise, the English Academy asked the authorities to create 2 blocks in the school schedules for the English classes. Such action would give us the flexibility to allocate the students into the groups according to their level of proficiency, and regardless of the bachelor's degree they are studying. As part of this line, it was also agreed that the Academy would look at special cases of those students who would place in levels 2 or above. Line number 3, that is, address the personal and community areas of the English program through the interchange textbook. The Academy agreed that these areas of the program would be studied through the material which is used in class, and that is the interchange series, the version for normales, that's the one we use. For the personal and community areas, it was also agreed to create a collection of activities which had been successful in classes. This collection would allow us to share strategies and activities that could be implemented in other classes. A complete template was created to standardize this product and thus make their filing and location easy. Also in this line, and after many tests and discussions, heated discussions, it was agreed to cover 6 units of the textbook per semester. Likewise, during these times of contingency, it was agreed to work through the flipped classroom methodology and have at least 2 weekly synchronous sessions. It was also recommended to take advantage of the institutional account and use the Google Suite tools. Next lines.
Okay, now for the fourth line, it's linking the professional area to the teaching practice path. This is trayecto de prácticas. And well, I have heard from other talks from our colleagues that this is like a very specific topic that they are worried about, right? Like, how can I link it, like the English, these English courses with professional practice, right? Well, this line of action was developed by 3 of the English teachers of the academy that were more experienced in this trayecto de prácticas. And in order to link this path of teaching practice to the professional area of the English courses, the teachers created a comparative table, including the following information. Number 1, the objectives of teaching practice path per semester. This is from first semester to 6th semester. And number 2, the objectives of the professional area of the English program per semester. So if you have done that, if you have compared the objectives of the teaching practice path with the objectives of the English program, you can see that it's not exactly quite like in sync, you know? So the third aspect of this comparative table was products or evidence of learning that cover both objectives. And this was quite challenging, right? So we have been made some adjustments to make these products or this evidence and according to each semester. But the academy agreed that the activities of the professional area will be carried out by semester and not by level of English. That means that maybe one student from first semester was placed in B1 because he was really good at English, right? But the product that he has to deliver for this path was according to his semester, first semester. And for example, for this first semester, they just have to watch a video of this, for example, Aprende en Casa. a video from English class according to Aprende en Casa, and they just have to reflect on the activities and the purpose of this class. So they start in first semester, they just start by observing a class. That's the first product. And the Academy also agreed on that the evidence of the professional area will have as purpose to contribute to the development of teaching skills and not to evaluate the proficiency of the language. So in this product, we're not evaluating the proficiency of English, okay? Just the teaching skills. And also we agreed that the evidence will be requested in the third period of the semester, which will be products that aim to develop basic skills for teaching the English language. Now, the fifth line, course evaluation criteria. So we have to base this criteria on the official documents. And this was on June 10th, 2020. The Dirección General de Acreditación, Incorporación y Revalidación stated this: when a student does not acquire the level of English of the course in which he is enrolled, he or she will take the course, that means the same level, in the following semester, with the understanding that a student will be able to remain at the level of English as many times as necessary until he or she has mastered the language according to the level, without affecting their average. And this is important. So a student, as also the course guidelines establish, that the student can take the same level over and over again until the student masters the level of English according to that course. So the Academy agreed that the evaluation of English course will be based on the evidence or products of the three areas of the program, that's personal, community, and professional areas, developed during the semester. And the student will pass the course when they get at least 6 in the global evaluation. This is according to the normas de control escolar, right? As for the sixth line, now, how can we evaluate the level of English that it is different from the performance during the semester? So the Academy agreed that the evaluation of the level will be carried out by oral and written exams from the interchange textbook. The evaluation of the level of English refers to what the learner can do with the language. And for this, English teachers rely on what the interchange textbooks indicate that the learner should know after studying these contents. The material in these textbooks, interchange textbook, include the written exams and a question guide for the oral exam. And from the beginning of the Academy, the English teachers have worked together, reviewing the written exams and making the necessary adjustments. And also for the oral exams, we have been designing these oral exams, and assess them using a rubric based on the criteria of the Common European Framework. So the Academy agreed that the criteria to pass the level will be discussed at the end of the semester. Remember that this was a project that began last August, and it was the beginning of well, not the beginning of the pandemic, but we were working online. So we decided to wait until the end of the semester to agree on the criteria for this level, for the student to pass the level. And at the end of the semester, we decided that the students will pass the level if they get at least 7 in the summary of the written and oral exams. That was the final agreement for the level, for the student to pass the level.
Thank you, Moni. Okay, we have here the English tutoring program, which is line of action number 7. And here we have the English tutoring program, which focused on the objective of offering academic support for English courses to struggling or failing students. Tutoring aims at working both on developmental and remedial work. In addition to that, other students willing to participate in the program were considered. Then we have the specific objective, which was to carry out the academic tutoring program in the 2019 and 2020 school year. For the organization of the program, failing students were identified at the beginning of the semester. Thus, they were invited to participate in the tutoring. The teachers of the English Academy were assigned as tutors according to the number of students participating. Tutors were given a work plan format to follow students' needs, goals, and activities and resources used during the tutoring. 2 hours per week were assigned. It is important to mention that the tutoring hours are intended to be part of the assigned English teacher's workload. For the second semester of the same school year, the following policy was chosen. Students who failed the English level of the previous semester might continue to the next level of the English course, as long as they were part of the tutoring program. Otherwise, they would have to repeat the failed level. Next, please. Here we have line of action number 8, which regards extracurricular courses. The extracurricular courses program it was created in 2018 in collaboration with the English Academy. The program is based on the Interchange series of books, which is the material used in the English courses at ENESMAPO Campus number 1. Each course has a total of 80 hours, and the courses have been taught face-to-face since 2019. Nonetheless, an adjustment of the courses was made due to the lockdown in 2020 caused by COVID-19. This adjustment consisted of teaching 40 hours of live sessions through a virtual platform and 40 hours of self-study. Last but not least, we have other lines of action. Here we have the following activities and proposals that have arisen so far. Some of them have been taking place and others will be developed in the future. The lines that have been developed are extracurricular events and activities. For example, we had one film club in 2019, and we have been teaching French since 2019 by 2 English trainers. And for the current semester, we started a conversation club. We have also started an exam project since 2018, and we started working collaboratively with the English Academy. This semester, we also started a certification preparation course aimed for students that are in 6th semester to be able to have an English certification. And we have starting to do research, which is part of our roles as English trainers. Among those lines of action that are still pending are giving training workshops for English teachers, becoming a language certification center, and we also have other proposals for projects that can arise as a personal interest or own initiative for our colleagues to develop.
Right. Now it's time to talk about the lessons learned. As you can see, we have many lines of action. And so far we have come up with these few lessons. First, and regarding the placement test, we believe it was a successful action to carry out the test. Otherwise, a good deal of our project could not have been done. However, that exam, the one we talked about, the Oxford placement test, we have used it several times. And moreover, some students were misplaced in their own or their teacher's opinion. Therefore, pardon me. Therefore, we consider that a new placement test must be used for the new coming generation. It should be a free test due to the economic situation of our students. Some research about it has already been done. However, we have not decided where to go, which test to use, I mean. As for line number 3, which is addressing the personnel and the community areas through the text material, through the interchange book, there we consider there is a lot of work to be done. To start, a project for the community area should be developed so that intercultural competence could be properly addressed in our classes. And another action in that line can be to change the teaching materials, to change it into an up-to-date series, and maybe a platform that would allow us to also work integrated skills. It is also necessary for us to inform the rest of the teachers, to inform the institution how we are working in order to avoid misunderstandings and situations which have already been happening. For example, English teachers did not receive information such as the change in the dates of the teaching practice periods. And that's just an example. We know we should tell everybody what we're doing so that they know what is happening in the academy.
That's right. Also, to be able to carry out this linking to the teaching practice path with the professional area of the English program, it is necessary to collaborate with other teachers. Because this project of teaching practice has an enormous potential, and we need to work hand to hand with the teachers in charge of this practice path, so the students can have the opportunity to practice teaching English in a school of educación básica, right? Maybe a preschool, elementary school, or a middle school, and they can teach English in their escuela de práctica. And also for the line of action number 6, to develop the Academy's English project, which will be in charge of designing and revising tests and rubrics. And for this, the English Academy has to work methodologically to standardize all the aspects involved in evaluation towards improving this complicated process, because we know that evaluation is not that easy, right? So for this line 6, we have to be more specific in this exam project.
Okay, now we have, for the lessons learned in the tutoring program, we learned that there should be a person in charge of the program and do a follow-up of tutors so they can report on students' attendance, results, and areas of improvement in general. Also, tutoring hours should be part of the English teacher's workload, and they should be mandatory for students, because right now they are not mandatory. We just invite students to participate, but that makes it hard for us to be able to know which students come, right? And students that actually need to attend the program. For the next line of action, we learned that extracurricular courses can be carried out by interns, either from ENESMAPO or other institutions. Also, the learning material should be changed to be different from the one we are using in the English courses, as my colleague Flor was mentioning, right? To be more updated and with more skills also for students to develop.
Well, like in general, each of these line of actions, we have 9 so far, well, more than 9, but each of these line of action is a project of itself. So each project needs to have a leader and also teamwork with specific responsibilities for each of these projects.
Yes, and as I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, the construction of this project we're sharing with you has occurred empirically, and therefore, in the first literature reviews, we realized that we needed a more solid construction of our project. And it was clear that we had to systematize first. This project we're sharing had to be systematized. What do we call systematization? What are we thinking of with that word? Well, we think that we have to organize our project according to a model so that through the necessary theory and appropriate methodology, the English Academy can be then in a position to organize the work, as I said, but also record and explain all the changes that have been, the factors that are involved, the results, all the lessons learned, the courses of action, and etc. And we think that project should be built like for a long time. Also, as a result of that literature review we're talking, we have also chosen already a model that can provide with the basis for our work. This is the model of Dr. Karina Trejo Sanchez, which we will talk about it now briefly. As you can see, she recommends 8 steps for the educational project model. And first of all, and logically probably, Dr. Trejo establishes the need to start from a diagnostic of the educational situation or the context. For this, she recommends 2 types of diagnosis. One, pardon, one is to carry out a self-assessment through a SWOT analysis, that is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. And the other option is to carry out a diagnostic needs assessment, or EDN by its acronym in Spanish. The model also recommends to carry out only one of these diagnoses. Then for the next step, the complete and detailed description of the problem found in the diagnosis and the choice of the problem to be addressed in the first place, that will be what constitutes the approach of the educational project. Dr. Trejo recommends also the limiting, considering the real needs, the feasibility by time, financing, and by the availability of information and instruments.
Okay, then we have step number 3, analysis of possible solutions to the problem. Here we do a description of the possible solutions and causes of the main problem, and we focus on one due to viability reasons. Then we have definition of the general and specific objectives of the project. First, we need to ask ourselves why we are doing this, right? And it has to do with the general objective, which is what we intend to achieve in the project. Then for the specific objectives, they are immediate and complementary steps to achieve the general objective. This has to do with the definition of goals, which they are operational to the objectives for the activities planned to be carried out. The goals include when, how much, and where the objectives will happen. Goals make objectives happen, and they include actions with precise dates. We should not confuse objectives with goals, right? As goals tell us exactly what steps to follow in order to complete the objectives.
And for step number 6, we have definition of strategies and lines of action. And that means structuring a work proposal to achieve the objective. And for step number 7, we have action planning. And the author suggests that we use a Gantt chart. I don't know if you have heard of this before, Gantt chart. And this is a table, and you have the activities on the vertical line, all the activities that you have to accomplish, and you have the estimated times on the horizontal lines. So you just check like when you're doing each activity. And this is for action planning. As for step number 8, we have resource specification. And we have 3 different types of resource. Number 1 is human resources. And this is the number of people who will participate in the project. And you have to establish roles and responsibilities for each person. And for this, you need to have a project leader who's in charge to coordinate and manage and distribute activities for each person. We also have material resources, and you have to indicate all the material and technological means that you will need to implement the educational project. And number 3, we have the financial resources, and this is to assign monetary values to the materials to be used, and this is a budget. This is also your final step to carry out this project. So, okay, these are the 8 steps for this project model. We have here all the reference that we have used so far. And well, that's it. We thank you all for your attention. We're done right now. So now we can hear you. Oh, sorry. We also have our email addresses if you want to ask some questions, or if you want to contact us to maybe collaborate or do something together. That's also great. So you have here all our email addresses, and well, you can contact us for anything you want.
Thank you. We do have enough time for questions and comments. So if the audience would like to comment, you can use the chat box, or you can use an emoji to let us know that you want to participate. Okay. Well, apparently everything was clear and very well explained. Thank you for your valuable participation. We have the comments. Thanks, no question. I just want to tell you that's a humongous amount of work. Consuelo says the emails, please, perhaps to show the slide again where you have your contact info. We also have a comment from Clau Porcayo, well done. Arturo de la Vega, great job. Jessica Julieta, congratulations. Ana Luisa, congratulations. Fernando, congratulations on the great job that you're doing. Excellent information. From YouTube, we have just greetings and that it's very interesting what you're doing. But apparently there aren't any particular questions. regarding your work. So now I'd like to share with you the certificate of participation that here at Benemérita and Centenaria Escuela Normal de Jalisco we have for you. And it reads as follows. Benemérita y Centenaria Escuela Normal de Jalisco otorga la presente constancia a Flor Argelia Laureano Torres, María del Carmen Pérez Sánchez, and Mónica Carrión Ruiz por su valiosa contribución como ponente de la ponencia extensa ELT during the pandemic, actions taken and lessons learned at ENESMAPO 1 en el marco del Congreso Nacional de Formadores en Escuelas Normales 2021. So thank you for your great participation. And I would like to remind everyone that after this talk, we are now on lunch break. And we will continue with our activities at 2 with our first closing conference. Thank you so much for being here.